Hi, I'm Dr. Lace Padilla. Have you ever wanted to learn the programming language R, but you have no background in programming? Well, this is the video tutorial series for you. In this lecture series, we are going to cover the basics of R and focus on creating amazing data visualizations. Today, we are going to cover the basics of downloading and installing R, as well as a tour of the RStudio interface. So let's jump right in. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is to download the programming language R. Here is the CRAN for the R project, and the links for these will be in this description. This one is for a Mac. When you go to this web page, you're going to see lots of information, but what you'll want to focus on is over here, which is the most recent package. So you can download that package. I already have it downloaded. If you have not installed Xports before, you might have to also download that. It does not come default installed on most Macs. Unless you have an older Mac, you'll have to go ahead and install that as well. So you can click on that link and it will take you to information on how to download and install that. Once you have downloaded R and Xports, just go through the standard prompts and select default prompts that it gives you the option to download. The other thing that you're going to need is you're going to need to download RStudio. Now, RStudio is a interface that allows you to interact with R code more easily. There's lots of point and click buttons, so you don't have to purely program in R. Eventually, you'll be good enough where you won't need the interface as much, but RStudio can really help you get started quickly. Now, the way to start with RStudio is you want to go to this RStudio products link. Again, I'll have this in the description, and it will allow you to scroll down and select which version of R you want. There's various different versions, but for RStudio, you just want to download this free version. And that is the amazing thing about R and RStudio, is that it is completely free and it's being developed by a very active community. So if you are a student or a freelancer, or if you work for a company, this is a product that you can use and you don't have to buy a license, which is fantastic. Go ahead and download that as well. It'll select the most recent version for you to download. Now, I have both of these downloaded and installed already. Once they are downloaded, again, just follow the prompts for the install on your particular machine. The next thing you'll want to do once both of those have been installed is to open up RStudio. RStudio will run R in the background. What RStudio looks like is this, and it generally has these 4 different panels. Yours might look like this, and that is okay. So in order to get the 4-panel layout, what you can do is click this new file button and you can select R script, and you will have this classic 4-panel layout, which is what you're going to see in most tutorials and how you're going to be working most of the time in R. Now, the way that it is constructed is this top left panel is the source panel, and that's where you can type code that you want to save for later. What's going on right now is we have a document open and it is not saved as anything. That's why it's untitled. R script is what this is. And we can write code in this R script and save it for later. And the reason that we'd want to save these scripts is if we're doing visualizations or analysis, any type of computational process, we want to be able to reproduce it easily and effectively. When you're writing code here, you can save it and then run it for later, which is excellent. And when I say code, you might be getting a little nervous, but something as simple as 2 times 30 is a type of code. It is a type of information that we are trying to get R to compute for us. So this is sort of like a amped up calculator, if you will. And this particular panel is ultimately just a text file, and we can type in text and we can run aspects of the text to get output. So what I've done right here is I just typed 2 times 30, and this is okay that this warning message is happening here, but I just typed 2 times 30 and then I ran that code. I had it compute 2 times 30 for me. And though there's a few ways to run code in R in this particular source panel. You see this run button here, that will be your friend. You can click the run button And usually what you want to do is either highlight the line of code that you want and select run, or you can use the quick commands, which would be command return on a Mac, and that will run the line of code. You can also put your cursor at the end of the code and hit command run as well, and it will run that as well. So that's very exciting. We just did this very simple computation, 2 times 30, and we were able to run it. Now, some of the other useful buttons in this source panel include saving this particular document. It's not saved right now. In the next video, I'm going to talk about file organization, and we'll have some very careful ways that we create this file structure so that it is maximally reproducible. I'm not going to save this now, but follow the next video if you want to learn about file organization structure and my recommendations for how to organize an R project. Other things that you can do is you can look up information in your file. Imagine that you have 2,000 lines of code. It's very handy to find 30, for example, and you could replace it with 20, for example, and just replaced it there. The other buttons that you have available in this panel include this kind of magic wand button, which gives you a lot of the hotkeys that you will be commonly using in R. So it gives you a nice clue to some of the hotkeys that you can be using. We also have run previous line. And notice as I'm hovering over each of these, it gives me a tooltip to describe what the button actually does. So this will essentially run our previous line of code. This is going to be more useful when we start having more complex R projects, but essentially we can run individual lines of code from different areas with this particular drop down here. So that is what's going on in this source panel. The source panel is a place where you're going to be writing most of your code that you want to reproduce later, because we can save it in this area. Now, in contrast, we have this console panel down here. And the nice thing about this console panel is where you can write code that doesn't necessarily need to be saved. We can have the exact same easy computation and paste it down here in the console, and it will report the information from this computation. And I didn't actually mention this when I was going through this source panel, but when I was running these lines of code here, the output was being produced in the console. You probably just noticed it, even though I failed to mention it to you. So that's pretty nice in that the output of what you're running will often appear in this console panel. What we will do in future lectures is organize this project to have code chunks, and when you run code chunks, it will put the output right below the code, so you don't have to look for it in the console. But in any case, the output goes in the console, or appears in the console, and you can also do any other type of computation in the console as well, and it will give you the output of that computation. So that's really the main part of this console panel here, is either running code temporarily that will not be saved, or viewing the output of code that you're running in the source panel. Now, if we move over here to this environments panel, I don't have anything going on here yet, but if I were to do something, so what's going on is that this open caret and minus sign kind of looks like an arrow, which is how I think about it. What I'm doing is I'm creating this computation that we've done before, and I am assigning it to this value of x, and it's coming up over here saying x is 40. So what will happen is when we are writing code, we are going to be running these different functions, these different calculations, and we will be assigning them to something that will be saved in our system, so then we can use it later. And that's really the beauty, is that we can build these systems to save information and use later to create more complex analyses and visualizations. This is the most simple version, where we're just assigning a mathematical calculation to x. But this is where you're going to find all of the information that you have stored in the environment here. We can do the various things, include saving these, exporting these, If we want to clear our environment, we can also select this broom and it will remove all the information from the environment, and we can run our one line of code again to have the value appear in the environment again. The other things I want to show you up here include a history. These are all of the different lines of code that I've run so far. And then we have connections. We'll talk about this in the future, but essentially you can connect to RStudio servers and host information online, which is cool. And then tutorials, nice place to find information if you want to learn a little bit more. You're going to stay mostly in the environment panel or the environment tab of this particular panel. Now moving down to this bottom panel here, what you'll see that was probably selected is the Files tab. And you're going to be looking at all of the file organization system on your particular machine. So you should see things like desktop, maybe downloads, etc. This is incredibly important for making reproducible code, and we'll cover this in the next lecture, of being very clear about where you're working within your file organization structure, because you will potentially have to link to different files or link to different images, link to different data sets, and it will be pivotal that you know where you're at. And I will give you tips and tricks for ensuring that you are in the right spot. And this is a place that you would look to determine where you're currently located and how to get into different file folders. We also have a plots panel. As soon as you make a plot, it will appear here. And then we have this packages tab in this panel. Now, the real power of R is that there's thousands of packages that are being developed and maintained, and new ones being produced every month. And these packages allow you to do things more easily than programming them on your own. Basically, anything that you can think of that you want to do, there's probably a package that's already built for it. The name of the game with R is determining which package does the process that you need, installing it. You have to install an individual package, and then learning the syntax for that particular package and the functions within that package. And it sounds a little bit complicated, but suffice to say that we're going to do a lot of finding packages, downloading them, and then learning the syntax for individual functions within that package. And this packages panel is where you're going to see all the packages that have been installed on your machine by you or by default, which is excellent. The next one is this help panel. You can search for different functions and different packages, and I'll show you once we get into functions how to gain some additional information about a function. And that's basically it for this panel. So you are going to be working in this 4-panel environmental structure for the majority of work that you're going to be doing. So you should get very comfortable with kind of looking at this organization here. And that's it for our RStudio tour. If you want to learn more about programming in R, specifically to make data visualizations, click that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the videos posted on the channel. I've been Dr. Padilla, and I will catch you next time.